Fake HOA tried to find a cop. He shut them down with legal authority. What happens when a self-appointed neighborhood tyrant tries to bully the wrong person? On a quiet Tuesday morning in the sleepy suburb of Willow Creek, Karen Whitaker thought she could flex her imaginary authority over everyone until she met Officer Daniel Ruiz. Karen, the self-proclaimed president of the Willow Creek Homeowners Association, wasn't your average busybody. Armed with a clipboard, a superiority complex, and a laminated badge she'd printed herself, she patrolled the neighborhood like a dictator. Her HOA wasn't even registered, purely a fiction she'd concocted to control her neighbors. For months, she'd been terrorizing residents with fines for minor infractions. A mailbox painted the wrong shade of blue, a lawn with grass half an inch too tall, or a car parked an inch over an invisible line. Her latest target? The charming flower shop on Maple Street, owned by Mrs. Elena Torres, a 70-year-old widow whose roses were the pride of the town. Karen stormed into Elena's shop that morning, her heels clicking like a metronome of doom. "Your sign is 2 inches too wide," she barked, waving a tape measure. "That's a $500 fine, payable to me by Friday, or I'll have it torn down." Elena, her hands trembling as she clutched a bouquet of daisies, tried to explain that the shop had been there for 30 years, long before Karen's fake HOA, but Karen wasn't listening. She ripped the shop's hand-painted sign from its post, tossing it to the ground with a splintering crack. Petals from nearby displays fluttered down like confetti in a tragedy. Word spread fast. By noon, a small crowd had gathered outside the shop, whispering about Karen's latest power trip. That's when Officer Daniel Ruiz, a seasoned cop with a no-nonsense demeanor, pulled up in his patrol car. He'd been called by a neighbor who'd seen Karen's tantrum. Daniel wasn't just any Kofi, was a Willow Creek native who'd grown up buying flowers from Elena for his mother's birthday every year. He knew the shop was a community treasure, and he knew Karen's HOA was a sham. "Ma'am, step away from the property," Daniel said, his voice calm but edged with steel. Karen spun around, her eyes narrowing. "Do you know who I am?" she snapped, thrusting her badge in his face. "I'm the president of this HOA, and this shop is out of compliance. I'm issuing a fine, and you can't stop me." Daniel raised an eyebrow, unfazed. "Ma'am, I need to see your HOA's legal documentation. Now." Karen froze, her clipboard suddenly feeling heavier. She stammered, It's at my office." Daniel didn't blink. "Then let's go get it." Here's where things took a turn. As Karen fumbled for excuses, a new figure emerged from the crowd. Mr. Patel, the neighborhood's quiet accountant who rarely spoke up. He'd been researching Karen's so-called HOA for weeks, suspecting fraud. "Officer," Patel said, holding up a folder, "I have records. There's no HOA registered in Willow Creek. Karen's been pocketing the fines." The crowd gasped. Patel had uncovered bank statements showing Karen had collected over $10,000 from neighbors, depositing it into her personal account. The truth hit like a thunderclap. Karen wasn't just a bully, she was a con artist. Furious, Karen doubled down. "This is my neighborhood," she shrieked, shoving a finger in Daniel's face. "You're just a glorified security guard. I'll have your badge for this." She grabbed a potted geranium and hurled it at the shop's window, shattering glass and sending petals flying. The crowd erupted in shouts, but Daniel remained calm. He pulled out a small, weathered law book from his pocket, a habit from his academy days. "Ma'am, under state law, impersonating an HOA official and extorting money is a felony. Destruction of property? That's another charge. You're under arrest." The confrontation reached its peak as Karen lunged for the shop's remaining display, intent on smashing it to prove her point. But Daniel was faster. He caught her wrist, gently but firmly, and cuffed her as the crowd cheered. Elena, tears streaming down her face, clutched Patel's hand in gratitude. Karen's reign of terror was unraveling in real time, her clipboard now lying useless in the dirt. As Daniel led her to the patrol car, she screamed about lawsuits and knowing people, but her words fell flat. The neighborhood had had enough. Karen's downfall was as swift as it was satisfying. At the station, evidence piled up: forged documents, fake bylaws, and a paper trail of her scams. The community rallied around Elena, helping her clean up the shop and replace the broken sign. By week's end, Karen faced multiple charges, including fraud and vandalism. Her fines were ordered refunded, and her house, once a symbol of her dominance, went up for sale. She couldn't face the neighbors' glares. Elena's shop, meanwhile, bloomed brighter than ever, with donations pouring in from across town. In the end, Willow Creek learned a lesson about standing up to bullies. Daniel, humble as ever, just shrugged and said, "I'm just doing my job." Patel, now a local hero, started a real HOA that actually served the community. And Elena? She gave out free roses to every neighbor who'd stood by her, a reminder that kindness outlasts cruelty. What do you think when is it time to call out a bully like Karen? And how far should justice go? Share your thoughts.